Nimi Walson Jack was a timekeeper in the school, and you could tell he was a very neat and honest young man growing up, very purposeful. He showed quality of a leader quite early as we all grew up in school. And 5 years, it was 79, we left. And so early he broke into higher education. He got admission into the university. And I know he read law in Ife. And no wonder today, someone who was purposeful and honest and transparent in all what he did has shown signs that he could be a leader. And I must congratulate him on his 50th birthday.
We have come a long way. I remember him as a scraggly little boy that was on the upper bunk in Niger House where we were. And incidentally also we were in the same class B of the streams in school. One thing I know is that Nimi, even as he was then, was somebody that was focused, he was purposeful in life. And I think even at that age, he knew where he was headed. And we were friends, but not the best of friends. And that is the way we were until we left Federal Government College, Ikotipene, in 1979.
I know Nimi Walson Jack. He was my student at Federal Government College, Ikotipene. He was a very brilliant and charismatic young man whose name became a sing-song, particularly during inter-house sports. He was elected by students as the captain, the subject prefect of my class, a history teacher at Federal Government College, Ikotipene. Nimi has been a very charismatic young man. Right from the days of school age, he appeared to be born for leadership. I have a lot of faith in him.
I got admitted into the University of Ife to study law. Indeed, in that, all of us in my set were admitted, but a few did not take up the admission because they wanted to study law and then they were offered something else. But so they stayed back 1 or 2 more years and eventually all got to university. My mother found out the location, then there was a problem. She had no money to send me to university. And so she pledged, then as a trader she had wrappers, so she went to pledge some of her wrappers for 300 naira. And with that she sent me to the University of Ife. By year 1 I was already participating in student demonstrations, and that was a military regime, remember? It was a civilian regime that eventually we moved into an overthrow, so there were always issues. The West then was UPN, and the ruling party was NPN, and we sided with Awolowo and UPN, and every little thing we were either issuing press statements, sometimes we were going out there on demonstration. To confess, at that early age, you really did not even appreciate what the issues were sometimes. So eventually, I was elected a member of the Student Representative Council. I was also elected Law Society president, and then got involved. I became a member of the Senate of the National Association of Nigerian Students. Yeah. So we got embedded in union life. We sponsored candidates for elections. We won some, we lost some. You know, we also had our own judicial process. If you lost an election, you could actually petition the Judicial Council, and Judicial Council had evidence. We started voting with computers in Ife as far back as 1979.
The Law Society of University of Ife, had a lease of life. Within the 1 year that he was the president of that law society, it had a lease of life. And we all enjoy his leadership, let me say. We enjoyed his leadership. He did almost everything that other people were unable to do within that period. You know, and I think the record he laid at that time, I'm not sure whether anybody has been able to surpass it up to today.
I always tell people that without my uncle, Mr. Nimi Jack, I would not have gone to Nigerian law school. After the law school, I was deployed to then Cross River State for the National Youth Service. There were memorable moments in the service, and one of them is the issue of payment of taxes. I wanted to do something out of the usual CD, community development work. And so I approached my boss, a Ghanaian, who was the principal state council, and told him my idea that I wanted to make people pay their taxes. And he said, that's a good one. So we went over to the local government chairman, and he was too glad. So he passed to me all the files of companies and individuals in Uyo local government who had not paid taxes. And we framed the letters in accordance with the law, drew the attention to the fact that they were owing their tax obligations, and they needed to pay up. And if they thought we were wrong, they should see us. Crafted it the way the law provided. And people actually turned up to either settle accounts, some to pay their taxes. Others who had high tax bills actually tried to bribe me to see how it could be reduced or they could be let go. And then one of them, which was done by a very senior lawyer, he was shocked when my boss called him back, because when he gave me the envelope, I didn't know what it was. I opened it, it was money. I took it to my boss, that lawyer gave me this money for whatever, that I'm giving it back to him. And my boss had to call the lawyer. And when he arrived, they called me and told him next time never to give me money in an envelope or to bribe me at all, and gave him back his money. And we went to court with those who didn't want to pay. And when we went to court, they realized we were serious and they paid. Now, the local government, I didn't know how much they got, but apparently they made a lot of money, because the next thing I knew, they recommended me for a state award. And I emerged the best youth copper in the then Cross River.
Wow.
And then that, of course, also meant I qualified for the national award, and I eventually awarded the President's NYSC award for meritorious service, which again, the records show that I'm the first lawyer to have been so honored.